Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live demonstration of the Resume Builder tool from Career Coach. My name is Matthew Floro, and I'm excited to show you how to use this tool and how it can help create a professional and impressive resume that will stand out to potential employers. So the way to access this tool, where I start, is the Ohlone College main page website. If you go to the main page, this is what you'll see. Where I'm going to go first is the quick links up here. It's on the very top in line with these other links here, but just look for quick links. If I click on that, you'll see a variety of links, but what I'm looking for is Career Coach. So you'll find that there. So once you've clicked that, you're here now on the main page of Career Coach. You'll see an assortment of career tool exploration tools, which includes a career assessment and 2 search options to find career pathways and then related programs. But what we're going to focus on today is the Build Your Resume tool, which you'll find on the bottom right. You'll notice on the link here, it'll say sign up and build your resume. So you will need to make an account. You can use your personal email. It's not connected to any other account. You would just put your first name, last name, email address, password. You don't have to put your current school since it is optional, but just make sure you have your first, last name, email, and password, and you should be able to create a profile already. So since I already have an account connected to this Career Coach, I'm going to log into my own so I could show you the resume tool itself. So now that you're logged in, navigate to the Resume Builder, which you'll see up here, or you can go back to that main page down here and you could start building your resume. And you'll find here an intuitive interface which guides you through the resume building process step by step. And you can start on this side, you'll see Resume Builder. This is what we'll be focusing on today. You don't need to worry about upload. You'll see a plus sign here. If you click on the plus sign, it will normally create a new tab, which you can then edit your resume. In fact, you can rename it here. So I'm going to rename this for sample today. This will be the resume we're working on. So what we're going to start with actually is the contact information area. Sometimes it auto-populates your name you used to create the account. So since I'm doing a sample today, I'm actually going to use this. Okay, you can also use this section to add your address, your city, state, postal code, and phone number, and all be located in your contact information section. So once you're finished with this part, you could save and close, and it will already be here, saved for your convenience. This next section is more of the meat part of the resume, which is obviously the work experience and education history. But let's start with work experience. You'll see on the bottom here an add work experience button. If you go ahead and click on it, it's going to bring you to another page where you can start assembling a work entry, like one of your past positions or titles or past jobs. The cool thing about this tool specifically is that if you start typing in the select past job, you can actually, it will pull from a database where it will auto-populate fields. So I'll use an example here, cashier, generic, right? So I'll use cashier, and lo and behold, you'll see the first thing that pops up is cashiers. It gives a brief description of the job. You can read through and see if it matches to what your work history was like or your past work experience was. So let's click on this. Once I click on that, you'll see on the right-hand side work tasks that are related to the job. Okay, if you can look through each of these and see if it relates to your work experience, you can click on it. It'll automatically add to your work experience. Okay. So once I've clicked the work tasks that apply to my actual work experience as a cashier. I'm going to go ahead and put a different, I'm going to go ahead and put the employer and the location, and even gives an example, Starbucks, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use Macy's as an example. Macy's in Union City. And then let's say this started in August of 2021, and they are currently working there. Okay. Once you're done with that, you'll notice on the bottom the saved tasks that you clicked on. If there's something in this list that you feel like you've done, but it's not included here, you can always make it custom task here and type it on your own, right? So once you're done, you can go ahead and save and close. And as you scroll down, you'll see in the work experience section this this entry, right? So you've got the cashier experience down. One thing I like to note too is sometimes you might have a different name. So let's say that the official title that you worked at Macy's was an associate, like team associates. So if you click that and say that the title of the job is different, but it still has the same work experiences as a cashier. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add another example for work experience. And let's do something, let's say Sammy Sample has had experience as an HR generalist. Okay, I can actually put HR and it will already, you can see that it's here, human resources, right? A human resource specialist. And if you read the description, you know, recruit, screen, interview, place an individual within an organization. Let's use this as this example. And we see on the right, you know, a generic list of what an HR specialist would do, right? So we can click through some of these, you know, as it pertains to you. And again, we're using this as an example. Let's say we were an HR specialist for Starbucks, 3 months. And you've been doing this, you just started this job, right? Let's say Sammy just started this, like, say last year in August, and is currently working there as well. So now I have our work tasks. If there's anything that's missing, we can add it here as well. And then we can close it. That's the one thing I like about this tool is that if you're at a loss for what the wording should be, or maybe you don't have a clear scope of what are some of the other tasks you might have done in your past roles, this is a good tool to go look back and see what was available, what applies to your past experience as either, you know, as a cashier or as a human resource specialist, for example. But yeah, here's some 2 examples on an entry-level job and maybe someone who's already been in their professional career as a human resource specialist. The next section I want to focus on is the education history. If I click on add education history, you'll be able to add the type of degree, certification, what your major was, GPA and location and school, and start and end dates. I'd like you to note that you don't have to put, it's not mandatory to put some of these sections, right, for GPA. So what I'm going to do is, for an example, let's say Sammy Sable, you know, was working on, or had finished high school recently, okay? So you wouldn't need to put a major for a high school degree, but you would put the location. We'll use Union City as an example. And we can just pretend the dates were 2017 to 2021. Oops. Oh, okay, there it is. Save. And here we find our entry for the high school. But let's say we want to put our college, like an associate degree or a college degree or bachelor's. Let's put bachelor's. Let's say your major was sociology and you went to Cal State East Bay, for example. And then you could put the different dates on here, depending on when you graduated. Or in some cases, if you're currently working on your bachelor's degree, you can put your actual start date and then your potential end date. Again, we'll look into this a little bit later, but this is something you can edit. Even though you put a date here, you can set that up now, but then edit it later. And I'll show you soon about that. So we have education history, we have work experience. The last section I want to focus on is the skills part. So if you click add skills, you can enter a custom skill that you can type on your own. You can select skills based on jobs you've done in the past. For example, if we click this, you'll see the relevant skills for this specific job, right? Orthopedic surgeons. However, what I like best about this part is you can click by your work experience. So you'll notice that we already added these two entries earlier. If you click on this, you can add skill sets that you have. So point of sale, stocking, product knowledge, for example. And there's a whole list you can add from there. And then also from the human resources specialist position example we use, if I clicked on that, you can select more and you could see just the depth of the types of skills that an HR specialist would have probably needed in their work. So you can click according to what you know you have or have worked with, right? And then I'm just going to save and close, and you'll just see that it populates here in the bottom. You have a list of some skill sets. Okay, so let's say that you're finished with all of these sections. You put your contact info, you put your work experience, your education history, and your skills set. I'm going to go ahead and move here. You can download the resume into a Word document. It's already a link in here, so when you click on it, it'll already be ready and formatted. And here it is, it showed up, Sammy sample. Okay. So there's the contact info. If I were to put a phone number and everything, it'd be up here. Work experience with all your entries are here. Your education history is already set. And then finally, you have your skills list. What I like about this is that because it's saved as a Word document, you can actually edit everything inside this document already. So like I said earlier, let's say the dates you weren't sure of, or there's some dates like you're currently working on your bachelor's degree, for example, you can enable editing. And then you can already add or subtract according to any updates or changes that you need. For example, in education, you probably don't need the start date, but you'll probably be more interested in the end date or potential end date if you're still working on it, right? Or if it was recent, right? You could already subtract that. But yeah, this is a part I really liked about the tool, is that it already has the ability to download as a Word document that's ready to print or ready to edit. So yeah, that concludes at least this part of this. I don't know, like, we can move and transition to the questions that we might have.
How can I add my leadership or volunteer work?
That's a good question. So you'll notice on the tool we were using, you may not see a tab that says volunteer, right? Or looking for volunteer positions might be a little harder because it's working through a database, which may or may not have the specific thing you're looking for. What I do like is that if you go to the document, you can edit it, right? So one thing I like to do is add a section that's specific for volunteer work or entries. Oops. Or you could also copy and paste, where is the location and the company that you volunteered for? And then accordingly, you can add the bullet points. So for example, let's say I wanted to add another entry. I copied the beginning of that section. Oops. If I copy the whole entry and then just paste it, I can just say volunteer, and then oh wait, here I would put volunteer, and then here I would put like example. Let's use Habitat for Humanity as an example. Habitat Humanity. Okay, and then you can adjust the date on this side, and then clear this, and then add the specific tasks you did in that position. Right. Maintain. Oh yeah, greeted customers, etc., right? Like you can edit that part in here. That would not be under work experience. Again, I would totally add a new section probably for just oops, the volunteers section. And the way I do that is just copy it. The formatting is the same, but now you have a volunteer section.
Where can I add my certification?
Yeah, good question. For certifications, what I would do is go back to the tool, the Career Coach tool, go to the education history, and if you go and add new education history, you can select your degree. You'll notice that there are more choices than just your bachelor's, associate, or high school degree. You can see other options here, and you could, certificate is one of those. So let's say you got the PhD certificate at Cal State East Bay. You won't, even though it says major, you can just put the name of the actual certification, the official name of the certification you received, and then the school you received it from along with location, and then adjust the dates accordingly. And so as you go down here, you'll see that it's added already, and then you can download new resume. And then you can, there's another version which has this section added automatically. Again, the edits we made in the previous one, you might have to do all over again, but that's the nice thing. Again, as I said before, the nice thing about this tool is you can make these edits accordingly based on the Word document once you're done and finished with using the tool. Okay.
How can I express my career goal?
That's another good question. So in normal resumes, you'll find what they call the summary section in the beginning. So if we go back to the Word document here, I'm going to use this one as the example. I'm going to copy one of the headers, so work experience, create a new space, paste it there, oops, but change this to say summary. And what the purpose of the summary is in maybe 1 to 2 or 3 sentences, briefly describe what your career goal is, and to add that's your goal moving forward with this resume. So for example, you can always customize this, tailoring it to each job you're applying for, but that is the section where you can share your career aspiration and then share what it makes you a strong candidate. Okay, and again, that would be 1 to 3 sentences in length. And here I am just editing it, making sure it fits the same formatting as the sections below. There. And if there's no other questions, I'd love to conclude to say that this resume builder from Career Coach is really designed to help you and empower you in your own journey. Especially if you're just starting out or if you need to update your resume. This is still a tool that could be very useful to you in any part of where you are at in your career development stage. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at the Career Center, and we'd be happy to go over your resume with you. Okay. Well, that concludes our presentation, and thank you so much for listening. Have a good rest of your day. All right. Bye.